is it right to say that with a pilot, their ability and through their training, they're trained not to go into fight or flight response, because pilot error has got to be increased if they go into a panic situation, if they panic, become overwhelmed. So through the training, they're training them to stay focused, so the left brain stays on, so they can use that logical mind, and to control their adrenaline, you know.
True.
And that comes with experience. I'm thinking of a soldier. Soldiers are constantly in danger, and when they first go through military training, they will get them to crawl on the ground, and they'll fire blanks at over their heads, and this gets lower and lower. And so they're getting them to perform maneuvers whilst under pressure. Then, as they progress, they start to use live rounds. And if they panic, the first thing is to get up and run. And if you get up and run and they're firing real bullets over your heads, people get killed, and people get killed. You know, they lose 1 or 2 a year to this problem. And so all the time they're being trained to stay calm in situations which someone who doesn't have this training cannot stay calm. They would panic, and when they panic, they freeze. They either run away or they freeze. Well, you're not going to run away in an airplane. If you freeze and do nothing, which is quite possible if you don't have the training to counter that, then you're going to make mistakes. So most of the mistakes that happen are because of the brain not functioning correctly, because they've gone into this higher state of panic instead of staying focused and solution focused rather than problem orientated. So what am I going to do? What am I going to do? They go back to manual. So there's a procedure in place, and it's done. So they're constantly thinking with the logical brain. So most mistakes that happen, and you'll have to tell me, I don't have any experience with pilot error, but I think most pilot error happens because the left brain shutting down, because they're not able to control their thinking because they're in a panic. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah. And the scene, you know, what's the symptom? Another 3 words that we're using when we have problems in the airplane, so students have a problem, is aviate, communicate. Aviate, navigate, communicate. So aviate, fly the airplane. Navigate, go where you have to go, and then communicate. But the first step that we see when somebody's panicking or somebody's not reacting to the situation is that the student is overwhelmed and doesn't speak anymore. So he's like, okay, we need to target that airplane over there. Silence. And he's there, and you can see the airplane moving. You're looking at his airplane, is moving in a way that is like, is it flight formation? Is he looking at me? Now he's looking at the radar. So he's receiving me, but he's so task saturated and target fixated on the radar to find the target that now he's not flying formation with me anymore. So it means that this is too much for him. It could be a problem of training that is been too quick for him. So nowadays we always tailor the training as usual as building blocks. So you go back and okay, this was too much for you. Let's go back in the simulator, and we pause. You see, now you're not talking to me. Where are you looking?